Well, everybody, thanks for being here. This is an AI conference, and I couldn't help but reflect on a couple of quotes. Actually, they're paraphrases of points of view, one from MIT and one from McKinsey. And the one from MIT really states that enterprise adoption of AI is stalling out or not fully being realized. And I think there's a lot of merit to that point of view and supported by the point of view from the McKinsey partner, which is AI is everywhere in the enterprise except for in the bottom line. Like people aren't able to. I wish I had come up with that, but it makes you reflect that how do you actually use this new way to apply technology to your business to help your customers in a meaningful way. So it's really cool that you have it, but what meaningful impact can you have? And so taking those two points of view, at the same time, you've got your CEO or your board of directors or your external, provocateurs saying, what are you doing with AI? Why are you not reimagining your business? Do you realize that you're going to be disrupted? And so I'll start with that framing that there's some question mark about how far we might go with AI, but with commitment from the top and commitment from your team, what you might accomplish. So a little bit about ADT. The T in ADT stands for telegraph, which is both interesting and cool and scary at the same time that it's in our brand, but it reflects a 150-year-old company, 151-year-old company that has been using technology that was available at the time. And so this is a moment in our history or in our journey that's pretty much the same. Um, I'll just use four themes. One is how is AI impacting sort of back of house? How is it impacting front of house? What is the state of the art within the security industry? But I really want to use those first three to frame what what do you buy when you buy monitoring, professional monitoring? Like what is it? How does it go about helping you? And how can that be better with AI? And so just really quickly on the back of the house, relating to the first two comments around is there value? Of course, we're implementing things like chatbots. 95% of our chats are flowing through an AI bot with really high containment levels. That's nice, but you can't really pick up the difference in your bottom line of saying, okay, is that better? It's a good experience for people who want to go online, but it's the vast majority of our customers are not going online yet. In the contact environment, when people are calling us, we're starting to use, again, AI voice assisted bots, which are actually helping, if you listen to some of the calls, people who are in their 70s, 80s, sort of not the people you'd expect to be using that technology, and listening to this very authentic sounding voice guide them through here's where you click, here's where you go next. The person makes a mistake, it patiently re-explains it, and it says, you know what? The person says, I actually like that. I did not expect this from you. And so there is obviously a disclaimer that I'm not a person, that I'm an AI, but so that's a good start, I would say. But what's interesting in our field, and ADT being 150 years old, we have over 160,000 variations of products and sensors and panels and cameras. And imagine who's an expert, who could be an expert in knowing why your system is making a noise, right? And so you have to send somebody to your home to actually think about solving that problem. Often that person has to call another group to get technical support. Well, now they can actually have the customer hold up their phone and over video use AI, recognize the lights, recognize the panel, and say, these are the steps you have to take. It's obviously very good experience for everybody involved, but now over half of our visits are virtual. It is worth tens of millions of dollars saving. So I would say that's real impact at our scale. And we're not done, right? But again, there's a lot more we're doing. The last example for back of house, I would say, is we have over 3,500 vehicles that our technicians and installers drive around. And so we're using or starting to use technology that actually looks at the driver inside the vehicle, looks outside, and gives coaching only when it's really important. Because if you have a smart car and it dings you for looking away, what do? You turn that notification off. That's at least what I do, to be quite honest. But this system actually gives the right amount of coaching and actually helps save lives and up to 80% reduction in loss. So of course that's good from an expense perspective, but people, pass away every year unnecessarily because they're distracted, and AI is not distracted. And so again, these are examples of that's how our company is thinking about for the back of the house using AI. For the front, I just want to give you some really quick demographics on the market. We have over 30 million in the US professionally monitored homes. But last year, over half of those systems were DIY. So you bought a doorbell, you bought, a camera, outdoor, indoor. It's not really a system, but you think you have some peace of mind with that. And we call that lifestyle, not life safety. But it's important. We have to recognize customers are edging that way. And those companies are starting to provide monitoring to those cameras and to those doorbells. So what does that mean for a company like ADT to say, we used to have people with massive systems, with professional installers who'd come to your house and actually say, this is what you need, sign up for a 3-year contract, which customers don't want to do. And then you're locked in because we have to recover that cost of acquiring you. So that model has to change. Um, the third part is really what's happening now with technology. So you have intelligent video. All of you know it's nothing new. I think Shashir said it in the other room. It's not really, you don't think of it as AI when you just expect it to work that way. But it recognizes my family. It recognizes my friends. It doesn't give me notifications about that when it's them, but it would give me notifications if it's somebody else or if it's at a strange time. If someone's in your driveway at 3 a.m. just kind of walking around, you would say, okay, that's probably more than random, and we need to sort of elevate this and escalate this. The most interesting thing to me personally right now is how some former MIT researchers are actually using Wi-Fi and radar and other technology to actually think through, like for privacy-minded customers, how do I actually know that you're a human or not a pet, and that they can detect if you're standing or if you've fallen to the ground. And so again, when you fuse that with something more elevated with more fidelity, like a camera, you can say, okay, I don't have to have the system armed. The notion of arming and disarming a system is sort of really outdated, and we shouldn't have to have people remember to arm their system. So that's a bit of the background to say, the back of the house, we're thinking about how to be cheaper and faster, better. A front of the house, customers are engaging with us, but again, they expect more for a lower price, and the technology is actually really permitting us to do more than ever before. But now I'll jump into the main point, which is what is monitoring? Scary stat for you all, but over 90%, 90% people don't arm their security system. They think it's enough to have the sign out front or the stickers, and it isn't. Actually, there's a whole industry of people who go online and buy just the signs, which is not a good idea. The other reason they don't use it is, hey, I forgot my code, or I can't disarm it fast enough, or all the reasons you can think of, or the sensor fell off the window for the 5th time in the last 2 months, and now I'm frustrated. It's not really helping me anymore. And then when the signal does come to our 6 monitoring centers, all in the US, you have to go through a protocol of first calling the premises, because that's the process, and then your contact list one at a time until we get to the end of whatever you provided. And then once we've confirmed that there's an issue, we have to contact one of the 7,000 dispatchers in the United States. So the sort of the geek part, the security geek part of this is level 0 and 1. 0 is like there's no signal. 1 is there's some signal, but we don't know anything more. And even level 2 is like there's something happening and there's a person in the house, but we don't know their intention and we don't know if this is a problem. But level 3 is confirmed threat to property, and level 4 is confirmed threat to life, which are the ones that will always get more attention. And that's where I think technology can specifically help elevate more of those quickly. So I am taking training to be a monitoring agent. I'll probably be highly overpaid to do that job, but I need to understand exactly how that works. And it's hundreds of hours of training. And what they teach you is you actually cannot even contact dispatchers without video verification. So here comes AI, right? So now you've got a video. It's actually found out that there's an issue. It's actually pushed that video to you. And now you can actually say there's a confirmed problem. So for example, in LA or in Las Vegas, they will never show up. They will never send police unless you can confirm that. And it's a bit like that Charlie Sheen movie where he steals Porsches and he's like, I'm the guy stealing the car. Like, we have heard phone calls where people have answered when you call the premises and they said, I'm the person robbing the house. Good luck getting to me. I'll be gone before you're here, because they know in that district, police will not respond if there's no way for people to know. So that's a problem for our customers, problem for society. So I would just simply say in closing, to contrast with the view of AI is not making an impact, I would say if there's someone in your family who's home and the system is on standby or it's just on, and it has to be on. I've recently learned that guards and helmets only work if you're wearing them. And so same with your system. If it's my kid in the kitchen looking for food in the fridge late at night versus a masked person who came through the window, in our lab, we're actually experimenting and making these things work. And so with that context, why not push that to our monitoring center and to the police? And then lastly, I would say, if you're on vacation and that's the mode that you've put on, why call the premises? Why call the number 1, 2, and 3 contact list? Why not take that video, validate the alarm level, and say, get to this property right away? And so a response can take between 5 seconds, or we're calling you, to 2 minutes. And now imagine the average time being significantly lower. So all of this is only possible, in my view, through AI. It's going to be cheaper to serve. And if every second counts, which is kind of our slogan, then we have to embrace AI. And I would say secure, privacy-minded AI. So hopefully that was interesting. Thanks very much.